Hi everybody, I'm going to give you guys a little persuasive speech on why I feel that marijuana and how this drug should be legalized. So everybody knows that marijuana is bad and illegal, but do you guys know how it became illegal? In the 1900s, after the Mexican Revolution, the Mexican Revolutionary War, Mexicans immigrated to the United States. So with that, they brought their language, their culture, and their customs. And along with the customs was the use of cannabis, which they called marijuana. They used it as a relaxant and for medicine. We already had cannabis in our prescription at our drugstores because they used it as a prescription on an everyday basis. So every day people used it. They just didn't know it was called marijuana. So when the media found out about these Mexicans and their cultures and the use of marijuana, they wanted to control the Mexicans. So they said that they started spreading rumors that the Mexicans were disruptive and dangerous with their natural ways. So this included the use of marijuana, and it was immediately outlawed in the 1900s. There was an effort used to control and keep an eye on Mexicans and the Chinese. So the same practice by the media to control the population was used when Chinese came over decades before with the use of opiums. The media needed another way to make marijuana stay illegal, so they came up with the Marijuana Tax Act of 1937. This time, the black American man became the victim. Claims that marijuana made black men, only black men, violent and wanted to rape white women if they used marijuana. Nothing the media said was ever proven. Yet again, in 1970, President Nixon labeled marijuana as a Schedule I drug. Schedule I drug is all the volatile drugs like heroin, opiums, crack, and meth. These are all on that list. Did you know before the 1900s, marijuana was used for over 5,000 years? Marijuana is grown naturally from the ground when compared to other drugs. For example, alcohol and nicotine, which you have to manufacture and produce. Speaking of alcohol and nicotine, according to government tobacco data statistics, cigarette smoking is responsible for more than 500,000 deaths per year, or about 1,300 a day. And according to the National Survey of Drug Use and Health, 90,000 deaths per year are due to alcohol use. In 5,000 years of marijuana, guess how many recorded deaths have happened? Zero. You would need to consume 30,000 or 40,000 times your average dose to actually overdose on marijuana, or 1,500 pounds in 15 minutes. Many have claimed marijuana is a gateway drug and it has a violent repercussion. That is true, but not the way you think so. It's the drug cartels doing the killing. They kill about 6,000 people a year who try to get in their way of the sale of the drug. Did you know it costs America about $5 billion a year to keep marijuana illegal? According to another statistic by Heat Street, did you know prisons are overpopulated mostly by marijuana charges because of the 3 strikes law? 3 strikes law meaning you can commit 2 crimes, get charged with it, and then just get pulled over and have a joint in your car, and that's your 3rd strike. You go to prison, not jail, prison, with murderers and rapists. Marijuana dependence is mostly among people who have mental illness. Did you know alcohol, tobacco, caffeine, prescription pills, and sugar is more addictive than marijuana? It's easier to quit marijuana than to quit these things I just mentioned. Marijuana is not a physiologically addictive drug like alcohol, heroin, and prescription pills, which alter the brain chemistry, and may replace a component in your body. Like alcohol replaces water in your blood, and that's how you remain addicted. Marijuana is used in medical ways such as chemotherapy, depression, skin conditions, glaucoma, and cerebral palsy. When was the last time a beer or cigarette was prescribed by your doctor? Another positive attribute to legalize marijuana is that it would bring in $7 to $100 billion a year overnight, compared to the $5 billion a year taxpayers spend to keep it illegal. That would create tens of thousands of legit jobs. Around 32 million Americans use marijuana regularly, or about half of all Americans have ever tried it before. 53% of Americans are okay with legalizing marijuana, and every year that number rises in its favor. Currently, 8 states have legalized marijuana, which include Alaska, California, Colorado, Maine, Massachusetts, and Washington. And surprisingly, Washington, D.C., the freaking capital of America, where all the laws and rules are made, legalizes marijuana. So we all know that marijuana doesn't make black men rape women, Mexicans aren't disruptive. We need to stop adding to our nation's debt. We need to stop overcrowding our prisons on marijuana charges. And we need to let this drug do what it's meant to do, calm and relax people. The worst thing that could actually happen to you when using marijuana is you could get lung cancer. In addition, you become very sleepy and eat everything in sight. So I feel that if the nation's capital is allowed to smoke marijuana, then by all means, what's good for the capital should be good for all. And that's what I have to say about marijuana. Should be legalized. Thank you.